Bruckner Chase is an internationally recognized marathon swimmer who wants to connect us with his sport and the ocean he wants us to help protect. This is the Thank You Ocean Report.
As a swimmer, I am intimately connected to the water. It's where I choose to spend my time. It's not about how far you go offshore. It's just that you look out and with a deeper understanding than just what's on the surface. Aside from what you get to see in the ocean with the wildlife, is what you get to feel. You get to feel the power of the waves. You move with it. You're moved by it. It's humbling and absolutely just awe-inspiring. If you get lucky enough to live somewhere where I do, where I get to go into the ocean every day, that ocean feels different from one day to the next, from one week to the next, from one season to the next. The temperature might be 80 degrees in July when I go out at the beach. It might be 38 when I go out in January. One day it's glassy and flat and you could cruise forever. The next day you've got 4 to 6 foot chop and swell. I tell people that often the scariest things in the ocean are the fears that we bring with us from land. It's that lack of understanding. And I even say, before I do a marathon swim, as much time as I spend in the water, I usually don't watch Shark Week right beforehand because you don't want that imagination. I think the biggest barrier is fear. That's what keeps people from trying it. And I think as people get older too, they worry about, well, how am I going to look? What's this going to be like? And for me, I started ocean marathon swimming at 39. And I put aside, I don't know if I'm going to be good at this. I don't know what it's going to be like. So we spend a lot of time going, don't think about swimming 2 miles. Think about swimming 100 yards to the first buoy. Put aside the fear, and then what's really key is finding a way to do it safely, because every time I go into the ocean, I don't take for granted that I'm a guest in an environment that can turn hostile quickly. I've gone for a swim off the beach that seemed like a normal afternoon, and a few minutes later, fog rolls in so thick that you can't see the beach. As much time as I have spent in situations in water, I've swum without a wetsuit in water down to 38 degrees. I have swum miles offshore. But I never go out in which people aren't there watching and looking. It's too dangerous. You don't know what can happen. And it is imperative that you go out with someone. Plus, it's so much better to share those dolphin encounters with someone to talk about it on land. In marathon swimming, you're often trying to find the best conditions possible to get the most distance covered as quickly as possible. And often that means you're starting at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. So it's pitch black dark. You are on a beach and you see nothing but blackness, and you're about to swim out into the ocean with little or no visual stimulus. I say I hit my first jelly in an hour. It's not because I saw it, it's because I started feeling them. I saw nothing. And I think that just thinking about that next step, getting out to the kayak, taking those steps, and letting that fear, which I always have, it's always there, but going through that to that next step. I always tell people that, there was that quote and people used to say, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? And for me, it's not a matter of saying, oh, well, there's this sense of bravado. I'm not afraid. This doesn't intimidate me. I will tell you that every time I look out at that ocean and think about some of the things I'm going to do, or think about Monterey 28 miles away, there's fear. And with me, it's not bravado or some sort of stoicism that gets me through it. It's trusting that the people looking after me and what I've done to prepare are going to carry me through, and that's my bridge. It's trust and letting go and taking those first few strokes. By pursuing this passion and being open to whatever the ocean gives you, and realizing that jellyfish aren't bad, sharks aren't bad. There are experiences that aren't what we would want. There are experiences that are uncomfortable, but even watching those jellies and watching those waves, it's absolutely fascinating. I breathe to the right and I watch the moon set. I breathe to the left and I watch the sun come up over the mountains behind Santa Cruz. I look down into 3,000 feet of water. I look up and I see a dolphin coming next to me. My crew looks over and sees a blue whale swimming by. Those kinds of experiences, that kind of connection that I get to experience firsthand, and take that and show people that our very lives depend on how healthy that is. And whether you are in Ohio or the East Coast or the West Coast, we are absolutely connected to that. And I am so grateful that I get to experience it right there in the middle of it.
Bruckner is also one of only 2 people to swim across Monterey Bay, some 25 miles. Now he's on a quest to swim among America's most beautiful places, our national marine sanctuaries. Follow these links to learn more. And remember, the ocean takes care of us. Let's return the favor. To find out how, visit thankyouocean.org.